When I die, I want to be known as a giver, not a taker. I want my son to know that his dad played a small part to inject a bit of good into this world, and to fight back against the dickheads. I want my son, him, I want others to be inspired to do the same in spite of what a cynic, hater, or a troll may think of them when they put themselves out and show their true colors to the world. That's my mission. What's going on? You're listening to episode 114 of the Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. This show is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the tools for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work, especially if you're building your side hustle outside a day job, just like me. At the end of each episode, I share a listener of the week, so stick around to figure out how you can get a shout out on a future episode in the show notes as well as in the newsletter. Also, real quick, got to give a huge shout out to Iron Bean Coffee Company for supporting all of February's episode via their Patreon pledges at patreon.com/perspectivepodcast. Fred and Chanel roast and sell their own kick-ass coffee along with hand-throw mugs and merch at ironbeancoffee.com. Oh yeah, we have a dope mug collab design coming your way in April, so stay tuned. Today, I have a shorter one for you, and there's a few reasons for this. The first is that I've been prepping behind the scenes and officially launched my beta coaching program 2 weeks ago, and those 5 sessions I offered went super quick, so congrats to those 5 who ended up landing a session. I'm absolutely stoked to flush out a game plan for you to dominate 2019 and beyond. The second reason why this one's short is one of the most important things coming down the pipeline is introducing video to this show. I've been listening to your feedback. I've been wanting to do video forever, so I'm tired of being scared of the things that hold me back, so I'm ready to attack video. That's the next thing I need to conquer in my life right now, and with your feedback and your encouragement, we can make this happen. So I'm recently bringing on Colton Bachar, and he's a fellow Iowan too, fellow student. And between him and Áine, I think we're going to really be able to do some awesome, amazing things with this show moving forward. And we're hoping to start with this as soon as next week with Scott Biersack of You Bring Fire. And then I'll slowly start building in solo episodes. Video terrifies me, but video is king, and it's definitely the future. And bear with me as I get more comfortable on camera. It's going to be a little awkward in the beginning, but just like this show was, if you go back to episode 1, the shit was awkward. So it's more important for me to just finally start. That's what that's about. Number 3, I've been working on some other coffee mug collabs, and this one, I got another one with Deneen Pottery in the works, as well as I mentioned with Iron Bean Coffee Company. And finally, here's the last one. I've been meeting with my homie Tom Ross, CEO of Design Cuts and one of the co-hosts of the Honest Designer podcast. With his help, his coaching and consulting, I've dramatically, strategically shifted my focus on who I want to become as Perspective Collective and Scotty.D.Russell and the value I want to provide you. I'll share way more about this, and I'll probably just make a detailed episode talking about this shift. The podcast isn't going anywhere. Everything is just evolving to a new level to give you value and to, work on my messaging and how I want to bring myself to market. And you better believe Tom Ross is going to be on this show right now. Catch up with him in the meantime. He just drops a ton of killer information and knowledge. And I'll be offering some more design cut package and bundles for you too. Some insane deals I think you should take advantage of. Woof. It took longer than I wanted. So now that you have some updates about my life and what to look forward to, let's bring our attention back to the now. Yes, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, but you don't need to have a significant other to soak up all the good feels with this precise and positively punchy episode I'm bringing to you. I'm a big believer in gratitude, positivity, and thinking in abundance. While I realize life isn't always perfect, I still believe in these concepts and principles, and not everyone vibes to this mindset, and that's totally okay. It's honestly a hard pill to swallow knowing not everyone's going to love me or my work and my way I bring myself and showcase myself to this world, and it tis what it is. I accept it. I would rather be known as the cheesy dude who tries to inspire and help people have a better outlook on life than being a cynic who expects and sees the worst in every person and situation. So I'm okay with being labeled as this dude. I'm cool with it. I don't care. And not only are we talking about showing some love and spreading some gratitude, but And between all this lovey-dovey shit, you're going to learn one of my biggest tips for boosting engagement and building real relationships. Plus, I'm giving you a nice little drawing challenge at the end for a chance for me to share your work on my Instagram stories. You can find the show notes to today's episode in a blog post format over at perspective-collective.com/114. As always, let me know what you think of this episode by taking a screenshot or video of you listening and tag me on your Instagram stories so we can connect. I love seeing your notes, so share those too. As always, keep an open mind and act on anything that inspires you today. Let's go. I said this plenty of times on the podcast, but I'll say it again because it's so true. People appreciate being appreciated. And I don't know if you know about the 5 love languages, but mine is definitely words of affirmation. To me, it's like oxygen. I shouldn't care, but, being told I'm doing a good job at the day job or being told I'm doing a good job on the podcast, that makes my day. It absolutely keeps the fire lit. Like, I need to know that I'm producing something value. I need to know I'm being helpful. I need to know that what I'm doing is making an impact. It's dumb, but that's my words of affirmation that keeps me going. But I used to be the kind of person who was always waiting for good things to happen to me. And it always felt like the world was against me when nothing good was happening. And I expected these things. I expected good things to happen. But honestly, I didn't deserve them with how selfishly and self-sabotaging I acted. And what I've learned over the years is that you have to play aggressive offense instead of passively sitting on the bench and not getting into the game. The game of love. I'm kidding. At the same time, I'm kind of serious. So let's get into the secret audience building tip today. And that's about being proactive. And I'm not talking about the acne medicine. So one of the biggest secrets to growing an audience on a platform is all about engaging. Simple enough, but a lot of you aren't doing this because you're telling me you're not doing this. And then you're wondering why you're not growing or building these relationships. So the more you engage with others via DMs or comments, the more you begin to play favor in the algorithm. And let's just say Instagram, okay? Instagram is probably the biggest, most popping, not probably, Instagram is the most popping platform on right now, the most growth, the most engagement, the highest reach, and still it's like the highest place that you're going to get organic reach. But how the algorithm works is when you send out a post, it's basically tapping into maybe like 10%ish of your audience right now. In Instagram, they're seeing if you're producing good enough content. If it's good enough content, you're getting a good enough engagement, you're getting good enough comments and likes and all that, it's going to start exposing that to more of your audience and then more of your audience. But if you don't do well within that first let's say 30 minutes or an hour, it's not going to continue to show it and your post is going to kind of flop. So that's why content's so important, but that's why engaging with other people is so important. To start building this network and system, especially if you're doing dope work, like you need to engage and interact and start building your community on Instagram so that way they see your stuff and they're more likely to comment because they want to support you. And that's how you continue to gain more favor within the algorithm. That's just one of the ways. And this is all about being proactive instead of reactive. Don't wait for love to land on your lap, right? Go out and love on other people first. And you do this by proactively peppering people with authentic comments that can result in short-term and long-term benefits. Here's kind of the short-term, and this is more of a feel-good thing. So if you just take a small moment out of your existence to drop someone a compliment, that can radically change their day, their week, their month, or their outlook on life. And for me, if there was someone like a huge account or someone that I really, really looked up to, and maybe I commented on their work and they commented back and just say something like, "Oh, great job. You're doing a really good job with your work. Keep it up. You have a lot of potential." If someone at the time where I had 100 followers and they had 50,000 and they told that to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Okay, someone can see the potential in me, so now I can keep on going. That little spark really changed my whole outlook on what I was able to do. And that's what you can do, and you don't need 50,000 followers to make an impact on someone else. You could have 100 followers and just go reach out to these 50,000 follower accounts or 100,000 followers and, let them know like, hey, I really love your work. It's super inspiring. And when I get comments like that, saying that my work is inspiring to other people, like that really makes my day. Right? It really puts a little bit more of a pep in my step. So you can make an impact no matter how big of an audience you have, how great your work is. You know, all it is just you taking your time out of the day to invest into someone else. And by doing this, you can spark incredible relationships that can lead to the community. It can convert a new loyal follower who will always share comments on your work. It could lead to a new podcast listener. It could lead to a new podcast guest, a new mentor, a new mentee. It could lead to an accountability partner or even someone to collaborate with that's all the way halfway across the globe. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And these are all the things that me taking initiative and being proactive on a platform like Instagram have done for me. It's all about relationships. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know in life. And I don't like saying networking. To me, it's kind of too much of a marketing slimy thing. So I'm all about building relationships. So that's what this section is about, being proactive. So an action step for this, do this. All right, please just take the time to do this. For the next 5 days, slide into 5 people's DMs or comment on a post of theirs showing some love, appreciation, or tell them how much their work has made an impact on you. Super simple, but within 5 days, you've basically tried interacting with 25 people. And if you're an introvert, get over it, all right? If you're an extrovert, do it 30 people, do 40 people. All right, this is just a nice little way to start, a nice little manageable, objective way to start building community and start engaging with people proactively. All right, again, secret audience building tip to that one was all about engagement. Okay, show love first, be proactive. I owe much of my success on Instagram to that. I engage with the platform. Instagram was made to engage with. Don't just post and ghost. Here's my post, adios, respond back to everybody if you can. Well, not if, you totally can. I'm on a tangent. Moving on to the second part of this episode, be a part of the solution. Straight up, there's enough negativity in this world, so why not be a part of the solution instead of contributing to the problem? Aren't you tired of seeing dickheads who treat people like shit thrive in this world? I know I am. Aren't you tired of seeing the waves of trolls on social media tear each other down or tear others down? I know I am. I'm tired of being torn down. You know? If so, then do something about it by playing a small role in something so much bigger than yourself. That's so important, okay? And that's what you can do right now. That's what I'm trying to do. And I fully believe, I've talked about this a lot of times too, you attract what you put out into this world. And it makes sense because this is my old lifestyle. A negative view of being the victim will only attract more of the same shit. The more you wake up in the morning of what else could go wrong this day or how could this day get any worse? And isn't it weird how like something else tends to get worse? You get a phone call if something shitty happens. You get in a car accident. You stub your toe. You drop and break something, your most favorite plate or something that your wife loves, and you break it. I've done that before. But the more you keep in this mindset of thinking like, what else could happen? Why is the world against me? You're going to continue to attract and put out these thoughts and energy into the world and going to attract the same results. So it's a simple switch, all right? And stop seeing the world as, you know, why should I go out and give value to anybody else or, you know, provide love to anybody else when nobody's done anything for me lately? You know, what has anybody done for me lately? And that's the same kind of shit I'm talking about. You're attracting what you put out in this world. If you're just sitting there expecting someone to give you a compliment instead of you going out and complimenting first, well, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to get any good vibes sent your way that day. And then you're going to continue to be a Scrooge McDuck, 365 days of the year. Let me tell you something right now that was also hard for me to stomach and understand is that the world doesn't owe you a fucking thing. But good things happen when you serve the people in this world. And I want to challenge you to always give more than you take. Like I'm showing up here right now giving, and I'm not expecting you to do anything. You know, I give you little things like, hey, subscribe, leave a rating review. If you want to support, you can do this. But each week I'm showing up not expecting you to do a damn thing. All right, you don't need to do a damn thing for me. I'm still going to show up and give you everything I have and pour my heart and soul into each and every one of these episodes. All right, I believe in serving. I believe this is my calling to, you know, put something into this world that contributes to this bigger picture and being a part of the solution. So I'm doing my job right now, and I don't expect you to do anything. But most importantly, what I would want you to do is to take the words that I'm saying and apply them to your life so you can have a better life. And hopefully you can make an impact on other people. That's the most I would ask of you. So get uncomfortable with what I have to say today and apply what, you know, resonates with you. And this is my mission. Cheesy and all, I don't care what you or anyone else thinks, but this is my mission. And I like alliteration, so I wanted to write it out this way. But my mission is to plant seeds of positivity to grow a field of fruitful future humans who serve other humans. When I die, I want to be known as a giver, not a taker. I want my son to know that his dad played a small part to inject a bit of good into this world, and to fight back against the dickheads. I want my son, him, I want others to be inspired to do the same in spite of what a cynic, hater, or a troll may think of them when they put themselves out and show their true colors to the world. That's my mission. And here's an action step number 2, okay? This is the challenge I'm talking about. Create a piece, whatever format you do, photography, lettering, illustration, whatever, it doesn't matter. Painting. Create a piece with your own rendition of the words, show some love, okay? You can put fonts on a word, I don't care. So make a piece that says show some love, and within that, within your caption, tag your top 1 to 3 creators on Instagram. All right, just make sure you're tagging them. Explain why you're tagging them, the value they provide to you, and, just show them a little love. And to make sure I see this, use the hashtag #ShowSomeLove2019 and tag me on my Perspective Collective account or podcast account. Actually, just tag them both to make sure I see it. And I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite ones all from the first week. All right, I might even share all of them depending on how many submissions there are. But again, just create a piece. It says show some love. Very, very simple. And tag 1 to 3 people of who's inspired you lately, who you think your followers should follow as well. And, just use your platform to spotlight on someone else. That's it. Again, hashtag #ShowSomeLove2019. Tag me on Perspective Collective or my Perspective Podcast Instagram just to make sure I see them. Thanks for vibing out with me today on this short little episode. I, for real, mean it that taking initiative and peppering others with some love has been my best tactic for building an engaged, loyal audience. And it's allowed me to get in front of others and grow win-win relationships, okay? Engaging, appreciating other people will allow them to appreciate you too, okay? So, again, one of the other things I've learned is people aren't going to care about you until you show you care about them first. At least in my world, that's how it's worked. So be proactive about this. Be genuine and be sincere and do it because you want to make someone's day and expect nothing in return. That's what giving more than you take is all about, and I really believe good things will happen for you. Your outlook on life will change, and you're going to end up raising your own frequency at the same time, raising everyone else's frequency that you come in contact with. Most importantly, you're going to slowly make an impact on others, which compounds over time. Love you guys. If you're digging what you hear and the show has made an impact on your creative grind, there are a few ways you can support this show. The first is backing the show financially on Patreon, like my friends at Iron Bean Coffee Company did over at patreon.com/perspectivepodcast. The next way to support the show is by subscribing, rating, and leaving a review in Apple Podcast. Doing so not only helps the show climb the charts in the design category, but it also lets me return the love to you by giving you a shout out as Listener of the Week. Not only here, but in the show notes as well as in the newsletter. And I'm also able to read international reviews now. So today's Listener of the Week goes to, this is a hard one to say, Zizo Fievera. Let me just spell it out. Zofiavera. And they're from France. Very, very simple. They state, from interviews with creative folks to helpful career advice from the man himself, this podcast will never fail to inspire and motivate you to fuel your own creative fire. Really love both the laid-back vibes and the valuable content this podcast has to offer. Thank you so much. Simple, to the point, easy to read. I appreciate you taking time of your existence to show me some love so I can show you some love back. As I wrap things up, I want to give a huge thanks to my podcast editor, Áine, Brennan, and my executive assistant, Paige, Garland, for doing such a wonderful job. I couldn't do this without you two. And a huge thank goes to Nick Jenkins of Blookah for all the dope theme music you hear on the show. Listen and support him at SoundCloud, Spotify, and Instagram at Blookah. That's BLOOKAH. And as you finish off your week strong, I want to encourage you to continue to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this.